Hello, my name is Samantha Smith. I am applying for SDSU's Marriage and Family Therapy graduate program. I am so excited for everything that your guys' program stands for. I absolutely adore the multicultural approach, and I believe that it is something that is innovative and that it fits directly into what my goals are. Before I jump into responding to your guys' questions, I would love to tell you just a little bit about me. I did my undergraduate degree at California State University, Northridge. I specifically moved there from Northern California for their deaf studies and psychology program. They are one of the top two deaf studies programs in the nation, and I am very passionate about both psychology and deaf studies. And my goal with my degree is to marry those two passions that I have into one profession, and that is to be a marriage and family therapist with deaf clientele, working specifically with deaf individuals and their families. I am really excited about that topic because there is a serious lack of resources, mental health resources, and psychological and psychiatric resources for deaf individuals. Often in research, you will find that there are almost no hearing therapists who are fluent in American Sign Language that can serve those communities. So you do have to have an interpreter in that space, which really breaks down some of the immediate vulnerability and trust that can happen, and also increases the time for a client patient relationship to build. And then, as far as within the deaf community, there are psychologists, psychiatrists, and mental health professionals. But often, what you see with deaf individuals, since it is such a small community, is that the professor, the psychiatrist, is also an actor, also a writer, also an activist in the deaf community and for the deaf community. And so they are stretched very, very thin. And if I, my goal is to increase the availability of mental health services for that community specifically. Deaf individuals often identify themselves first and foremost as deaf, and their deaf culture goes along with that before they even identify themselves as Hispanic or Native American or female or trans or anything like that. They often, first and foremost, identify themselves as deaf. So I feel like deaf culture and the deaf community is something that has been grossly overlooked. I would love to dive into some responses to the questions you guys gave. Um, First and foremost, what are you most passionate about in becoming a mental health professional? I think the thing that I am most passionate about is helping people better understand themselves and better understand their relationships. I have always thought it to be that therapy is a neutral sounding board for you to discover yourself, discover why you do the things you do, and to really possibly heal hurts and scars from the past. And I'm really excited to help navigate that with any client that comes my way. Um, and I love being an active listener. I think being an active listener is one of the few things that you don't find very much of in this world, especially with social media and all of that changing. There's not many people to just sit down and listen, and to offer stuff, advice, to offer suggestions in your benefit and your benefit only, not to benefit themselves or not to hear themselves speak. Um, Furthermore, what I would like to learn in my choice of program, I think the number one thing I would love to learn is application. You can sit in a school and you can sit in a classroom and learn all these different things, but if you don't actually know how to apply it, then it doesn't mean anything. I could learn about quantum physics and read about it, but if I don't know how to do quantum physics, it means nothing. And though I know so many different theories and terminology, and I have all these thoughts about how it would be in the real life, in the real world, knowing how to actually apply it with a client in front of me would be probably one of the biggest things I would want to learn. so that I could jumpstart right into trying to get my licensure and going into practice. Um, what do you imagine at this time will be your contribution to working with others in order to provide them with helpful mental health services? Here, I have to go back to my specialty to provide 100% confidentiality between a patient and a client, but also being able to know sign language with a deaf client um, gives a sense of understanding and belonging right from the beginning of your very first session with a patient. And I hope to add that to really broaden my specialty and to bring the deaf community and deaf individuals some more psychological services. I really hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope to hear from you guys soon. Bye bye.